We've all had our issues with IT, whether it be staff, processes, software, or equipment, but would we kill over it? Probably not. In today's case, we are looking at a man who killed 3 people over 3 Dell monitors that were worth about $600. I'm Melissa Compton, and this is Crimealytics. In 2013, Mark Hassey, 57, was an assistant district attorney in Kaufman County, Texas. Before that, he worked in Dallas County. At Kaufman, he led the organized crime unit and was known for taking on tough cases. Just before 9 a.m. on January 31, 2013, Mark parked near the Kaufman County Courthouse. As he walked, a man in black wearing a Halloween mask shot him multiple times and ran to a waiting 2001 Mercury Sable. The car sped off and no one saw the driver. Mark Hassey, a prosecutor for 25 years, died after being rushed to the hospital. He specialized in cases against gangs and white supremacist groups in Kaufman County, so police had several potential suspects. Investigators suspected the Aryan Brotherhood, but they couldn't find any proof or leads pointing to anyone else. Michael McClellan, 63, became the Kaufman County DA in 2010, the same year Mark Hassey joined. He and his wife Cynthia, 65, lived in Tawty, Texas, where she worked as a psychiatric nurse. On March 30, 2013, friends visited Michael and Cynthia's home and found that they both had been shot. Cynthia was shot 8 times and Michael 16, both with .223 caliber bullets. Police believe Michael was the main target and linked their deaths to Mark Hassey's killing. In the past century, 13 U.S. prosecutors were killed, 2 from the same office dying in 1 month. That was no coincidence. Authorities focused on the Aryan Brotherhood, and they focused on cases Mark Hassey and Michael McClellan handled together. There was only one, Eric Williams. Eric's record was fairly clean. He was a Mensa member, served in the military, and worked as an attorney. In November of 2010, he was elected Justice of the Peace. In May of 2011, 6 months after Eric's election, 3 Dell monitors vanished from the courthouse's IT office. Surveillance footage later showed Eric taking them after hours. 2 monitors were found in Eric's office, and the third was found in his truck. He admitted taking them, saying they were for video conferencing during hearings. The third monitor was supposed to go to the jail, eventually. He skipped the approval process and handled it on its own, blaming issues he had with IT. District Attorney Michael McClellan accused Eric Williams of stealing the 3 monitors worth $600 and called the act a threat to the courthouse's credibility. Williams was arrested and charged. Prosecutors offered him a deal: plead guilty to a misdemeanor, lose his judge position, but keep his law license. If Williams rejected the deal, he risked felony charges, stealing from a building, and theft of between $1,500 by a public servant. A conviction could cost him his law license and up to 2 years in jail. Williams refused to plead guilty. He offered to resign and pay $600 instead, but DA McClellan said no. In March of 2012, Eric Williams went on trial for stealing the 3 monitors. He denied it, saying they were for county use, and called the case a witch hunt. His lawyer claimed District Attorney Michael McClellan had a personal grudge. Prosecutor Mark Hassey called the monitor theft malicious, and the jury ended up finding Eric Williams guilty. Mark Hassey pushed for the maximum sentence of 2 years in prison, but the judge gave Eric 2 years of probation, 80 hours of community service, and a $2,500 fine. He lost his Justice of the Peace row, and his law license was revoked due to the felony conviction. Eric's job loss also meant no health insurance, which was a blow since both him and his wife needed care. Resentment? That could actually be understandable. Eric was questioned after Mark Hassey's murder. His arm was in a sling from a recent surgery. Police tested his hands for gunshot residue, but the results were clean. After a second murder, investigators were certain Eric Williams did it, but again, they had no proof. The day after the McClellans' murder, Crime Stoppers got an email stating, "Do we have your attention now?" Police responded, "You have our attention." The email went on to describe ammo used to kill Mark Hasse, details only the killer would know, and it warned a Kaufman County judge must resign within a few days or more people would die. No judges quit, and no one else was killed. Police questioned the McClellans' neighbors. Some saw a white Crown Victoria nearby the day of the murders. Security footage showed the car, but no visible plates. Eric Williams refused to talk to the investigators at first, speaking to the media instead and offering condolences. 12 days after the McClellans' murders, he agreed to talk but denied involvement, claiming he only had one gun and he was trying to sell it. Williams allowed police to search his home, and they found gun parts and ammo, which he as a felon could not legally have. This led to police to obtain a search warrant. In a home office, police found a note reading W695196. It matched a tip code assigned by Crime Stoppers, and it was linked to the email about the ammo used to kill Mark Hasse. Police also found a title for a recently bought white Crown Victoria under a fake name. Eric Williams was arrested for making deadly threats. And due to the news coverage, a friend told police he rented a storage unit that Eric was using. Police searched it after the tip. Inside they found a white Crown Victoria, over 70 firearms, and a large amount of ammo, including two .23 caliber bullets like the ones used in the McClellan murders. They also found homemade napalm, a Molotov cocktail, tactical gear, a sheriff's badge, and a bulletproof vest. None of the guns matched those used in the killings. The lower parts of two AR-15s were found, but the upper parts that are needed for ballistic testing were missing. Another friend of Eric's told police that weeks before Mark Hasse's murder, Eric asked if he'd help dispose of the rifle's upper parts. The question made him so uneasy, he didn't respond. In the storage unit parking lot, police found a second car linked to Eric, a 2001 Mercury Sable like the one in Mark Hasse's murder. On April 18, 2013, Eric and Kim Williams were arrested for the three murders. Kim told police Eric pulled the trigger and led them to a lake where they had dumped a gun and the mask from Mark Hasse's killing. The gun was registered in Kim's name. Kim agreed to testify against her husband and got a 40-year sentence in the deal. Eric Williams went to trial in December of 2014. Evidence included the two cars tied to the case, a note with the Crime Stoppers tip number that was linked to the telling email, and the murder weapon used to kill Mark Hasse, which Kim helped police find. Kim, Eric's wife, testified that he was furious about the conviction and vowed revenge. At first, she didn't take him seriously, but then he started making napalm and buying weapons. Kim admitted to driving during Mark Hasse's shooting. She said Eric was excited before and proud after. She also was in the car during the McClellans murders, where Eric, dressed as a cop, went to their door. And she said after the killings, they celebrated with a steak dinner. Kim said Eric planned to target others, including Early Wiley. Eric held a years-old grudge against her for scolding him over inflated charges when she was a judge.
It was a lesson learned that you don't know who might be the one that's coming after you.
Early Wiley is now district attorney, appointed days after McClellan's death. Only after Williams' arrest, she learned that his wife, Kim, told investigators he planned to kill her and a retired judge.
I think Eric thought he was beyond the law and that he was smarter than everybody.
Kim testified that Eric also wanted to kill Judge Glenn Ashworth because he thought Ashworth told prosecutors about an incident that happened in Huntsville, Texas years ago, making this case worse. Glenn Ashworth was shocked because he thought they were friends. According to Kim, Eric planned a gruesome attack. He intended to shoot the judge with a crossbow, carve out his stomach, and fill the cavity with napalm. Eric's trial lasted 3 days. The jury took 2 hours to convict him, sentencing him to death. He's now on death row at the Alan P. Polunsky unit in West Livingston, Texas. Kim Williams is held at the Hobby unit in Marlin, Texas, and she can seek parole in April of 2032 when she'll be 66 years old. That's our case for today. Please be sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe out there.